guys, Megan here, the Healing Foods Coach. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, thank you for coming here and visiting. And for those of you who are returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. So, very quickly, before I jump into today's topic, reminders that I do offer one-to-one coaching support. If you want some additional one-to-one support, making informed nutritional choices, someone to cheer you on, help you set realistic and attainable long-term and short-term goals with your food, with your transition into this way of eating, as well as things that you can sustain on your own. We do all of that. Go ahead and you can reach out to me, book a session. The website is www.healingfoodscoach.com. I am offering at the moment a limited time only special discount for new clients with the initial assessment fee. So go ahead, book your session, and we can get healing together. Right, today's topic, progress, not perfection. Now, I am somebody who very easily gets discouraged if I feel I haven't done something in a perfect way. I am what you may call a perfectionist, and that isn't always necessarily a bad thing. So if you are trying to put together a great CV, resume, or an email or a letter to someone, or in your capacity as an employee or even as an employer, there are certain tasks you're asked to do. And let's say it's data entry or updating client records, that sort of thing. You have to have accuracy. And so being a perfectionist in that regard is super important. And of course, I'm not referring to that situation. Okay. So in that case, being a perfectionist, definitely a good thing. But I know there's a lot of you guys out there like me who we feel that we must measure up and be exactly like some of these great super influencers out in YouTube world or out in this carnivorous eating space. Meanwhile, we are who we are. We are our own individual people. And if we somehow feel we haven't measured up to what others have done or are doing, then we get very downcast, we get very negative, and oftentimes it can cause us to have stalls in our own progress through life. You know, for example, there are so many people out there who maybe are, you know, have thousands of subscribers and, you know, are doing all these great things out in this space, really promoting a carnivorous, proper human diet, and it's fantastic. And I'm so thankful for them, like the Dr. Ken Berries and Dr. Anthony Chaffees and Professor Bart Kays. We've got Dave Mack at No Carb Life, some really, really great guys who are making great content, have incredible knowledge, and are sharing that with as many people as possible. And yet I'm not them. But for some reason, I feel like, oh, I should be doing the things that they're doing. But yet I'm me, and not one of them ever has contacted me and said, hey, you're not doing what I'm doing exactly, therefore you're not doing it right. But this is the negative self-talk that we can often give ourselves. And it's harmful, and it's hurtful to ourselves. And I wanted to just talk about this because I know there's many of us out there where we are so used to looking at ourselves negatively and speaking to ourselves negatively in ways that we would never ever do to another person, but we do it to ourselves. And instead of celebrating the fact that we are progressing further along in health and getting to a place where we are healing and many of us healed, we forget that. We feel as though, well, I haven't achieved what they've achieved, so therefore, I guess what I'm doing doesn't count. At least that's me. I'd like to think that I'm not the only one like that, but maybe I am. But I have a sneaky suspicion there's a lot of us out there. And it could be because we've come from a history of low self-esteem or poor self-image, body dysmorphia, even. Whether we have struggled with an eating disorder, some form of disordered eating, whether we were negatively influenced based on unrealistic beauty standards, both for males and females, as portrayed in movies and TV and magazines. And we somehow feel like, well, I'm not 5'11" and, willowy and graceful like these supermodels who are just people as well. And you know what? Some of that was genetics, and we're not them. And yet feeling as though, well, we're not doing what they're doing, therefore somehow what we have done isn't worth celebrating or mentioning. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. In life, I think what we need to focus on and celebrate, and I am only just really starting to grasp this and put it into practice in my own life. Okay, so I'm far from perfect, which is funny, right? Given today's topic, I am not perfect in this way by any means. But what I'm finally starting to accept is that it's the progress we make that matters. What I've had to come and learn from some great people out in this space, guys like Coach Stephen, guys like Carnivore Kent, Lee Kopus. These are, guys who do what they do. They have the work they do daily, and they also do YouTube content, and they also live lives, and many of them have spouses or partners and families of children. Maybe some even have grandkids. But they are more than just the sum total of their videos. They're sharing a slice of life of what they go through, which I super appreciate. Of course, and a shout out to my friend DC Learning to Live. There's some amazing folks out in this space. And yet the truth is that I didn't really kind of realize, or maybe I realized, but I didn't allow myself to live in the moment or live in the reality, is that yes, they have put all this great content out, but they also just live life, right? And the reason why I share that is outside of the content, which I love making for you guys, what else am I getting up to in life? Am I learning something? Am I learning new things? Am I challenged daily to try different things that maybe I was afraid to do, like swimming at the pool the other day, which I felt great about. Taking days in between to rest and recuperate if I need to. When I feel energized and I'm in the mood to walk my dogs, I walk them. But on days where I have other things going on, appointments, interview sessions, working on some other background projects, if I've got other things going on, or I'm spending time with my son or with my husband or whatever I'm up to, then my son helps out and he can walk the dogs. I don't have to do everything for everybody all the time. And it's about progress. And so as I'm learning to see that there's more to life than simply just the content, although it's fun and I love doing it, I'm realizing I have to be a lot more graceful with myself. Okay. And it's about our ongoing progress. I think back to a year ago, it was a year ago today that I officially had stopped using my wheelchair for anything. So a year ago today was the last time I had to use my wheelchair. I was up walking, not nearly as much as I do now, but I was walking a mile or two most days. Today, I easily walk 3 to 4 miles every single day. Spaced out sometimes in 2 or 3 sessions throughout the day. So I'm learning not to do it all at once, to overdo it or to stress out my body, but to move because I'm enjoying it and I feel great. And there are people out in the space who are able to be far more active than me. And that's amazing. And I'm so happy for them. And yet I don't have to do what they do. I don't do resistance training. I don't use weights. I have sacroiliac joint dysfunction, SI joint dysfunction, which means my pelvic bone is just ever so slightly tilted higher on the left than the right. So I'm in a constant state of inflammation and a chronic state of very low grade pain. So I do what helps me feel better instead of pushing myself to try to do what everyone else is doing. Those of you who can get to the gym, who like it and enjoy the working out with the weights and the resistance training and all of that, that's awesome. Truly, I'm so happy for you. I can't right now. And yet I'm working to realize that that's okay. I am still moving every day. That it was just a year ago that I stopped using my wheelchair after 9 in a wheelchair. I swam at the pool on Friday. It was a 1.5 mile walk to the pool and a 1.5 mile walk back, uphill both ways. You know, it snowed, there was a blizzard, and it was uphill both ways. No. And you know what? That was amazing. I've not been able to actually swim properly in about 15 years. And so there's progress, that I am not ashamed of being in a bathing suit in public. I was told by the healthcare woman who did my annual health check on Friday that I had the best blood pressure reading that she had seen in ages, which is wow. How cool is that? Also, turns out I always thought that I was 5'5" or 165 centimeters. Turns out I'm actually 5'6", 168 centimeters. The difference was because I had such terrible posture and I was hunched over for so long, I never got an accurate measurement until I was in her office on Friday. Woohoo! There you go. I apparently I'm taller now. So that's progress. I don't stand hunched over. I don't stand in pain. I stand with good posture. That is progress after years of not being able to do that without unbelievable pain. It's amazing. And that's partly why I wanted to share all that today. I feel energized. And you know what? There's absolutely zero stimulant in my body. Not that I drink alcohol anyways, but there's no sugar, there's no seed oils, there's no carbs, and there's no caffeine. I am feeling outgoing and energized and bubbly because I am burning fat for fuel. That's amazing. I'm so thankful. That's progress. And so every time I feel like, oh, well, I'm not doing what they're doing, or, well, I can't do weights because of my joint dysfunction, at least not the stuff around my lower back for now, that's okay, because I'm getting out daily and walking to some degree. 3 to 4 miles every day, pretty much. After almost 9 years of being stuck in a wheelchair. That's progress. That's amazing. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys to let you know that I am, at heart, I'm a perfectionist. And if I feel like I haven't done something the best I possibly can, I'll redo it. This video you're seeing now is the final video after 5 previous attempts that I felt weren't quite right. Okay, up to snuff, personally. But I am determined, and I'm going to try very hard daily to celebrate the progress I have made and that I keep making, as opposed to worrying about doing it perfectly. Can I do only red meat and just salt and water? No, I can't. That's okay, because what I am doing is helpful and is working. And I wanted to share that, especially for you guys who are coming into this space and maybe you've only been doing it for a little while, or you feel like, okay, well, your weight's not shifting. You feel better, but your weight hasn't come down, and you feel like maybe you're doing something wrong. It takes time. It really does. It takes time. And just work on doing the best you can. Okay. As Dr. Ken Berry often will say, find the meat you like and that you can afford and start there. Maybe it's just bacon and eggs because those are relatively cheap. Okay. And as long as you don't have too many sensitivities or histamine responses, you should be fine. Start with that. Maybe do sausages or other cuts of pork. Try ground beef if you find steak is too lean. Feel free to include fish and seafood if you can afford it and if you enjoy it. I find fish disgusting personally. Can't do it. Yuck. I'm sorry. That might be your yum. It is not mine. But if that is what you enjoy and it works for you, have at it. Enjoy. This should be a place where we feel inspired to keep going and to keep trying, not because we are doing it perfectly, but because we're seeing changes. And that should be what we celebrate. I think what I've had to realize, especially this week, I did have a day where I gave in and ate a bit of cheese. And within half an hour, oh my goodness, brain fog, my joints started to ache. I felt bloated. It was a bad decision. I knew I shouldn't have had it, but I just gave in and decided I'm going to have a bit of cheese, and terrible idea for me. Okay. I have a known lactose intolerance, but I tried to convince myself that, yeah, I'm sure I'm fine now. I wasn't. Anyways, but that's okay. I didn't make the perfect choices that day. It was only a single slice though. It wasn't a whole bunch of cheese, which I would have done in the past. I would have had numerous slices. I had a slice of cheese. I didn't finish all of it. I had most of it, but some of it I actually didn't have. I left some of it to the side. I let the dogs have a little bit of cheese. And beyond that, I didn't beat myself up. And I stuck with the butter and sausages and some ham and some chicken and some ground beef over the last few days. I feel back to myself. And so I'm going to try to celebrate the fact that, yes, I had some cheese, but I didn't eat the whole slice like I would have done. I didn't go back for more, which I also would have done. And I tried to just focus and move forward. And so sometimes that's the hardest thing. We are usually our own worst critics. I certainly am guilty of that. But just to let you guys know, wherever you're at, whatever things you maybe feel like you've slipped or you've had things that you know don't agree with you, but you gave in. Hey, we are all, I think, guilty of having those little missteps. And again, cheese, if you tolerate dairy, cheese is on the carnivore spectrum of food you can eat because it comes from milk, which comes from an animal, obviously. Okay. But it also contains naturally occurring sugars from the lactase in the milk, and therefore it also has carbohydrates. So you have to keep those things in mind as well as a side point. But if you have some cheese, like for me in the past, I would have beat myself up. Like, why would I do this? How could I have eaten it again? I promised I would never touch it. I took a few minutes. I actually had to say, I forgive myself and look forward to the victories and move past it. And so if nothing else, guys, I hope that that's what will help you as well. Not to focus on where you've maybe gone wrong or where you've slipped, but do the next best thing, do the next good thing, do the next healthy thing. Sorry, apparently my dog is tired. And let's move forward. Let's progress. Let's not worry about measuring up to what everyone else is doing, but let's do the things that are good for us, that work for us, and that we have to look at, hey, sometimes we have to mess up or make bad choices so we learn from them, right? It's all about progress, not about some skewed version of what we see as perfection. So I hope truly that this is helpful. That is why I make these videos. That's why I enjoy sharing these things with you guys. And I just want you guys to know that I am so far from being perfect. I am not perfect. Like, I know I cannot handle dairy. I know this in my mind, in my brain. But every once in a while, those demonic thoughts, those little, like the little demon on your shoulder, whispers in my ear, no, you're fine now. Have some. You'll be fine. A little cheese. You'll be okay. Don't worry about it. We all have those temptations. And sometimes we'll give in. But as long as we move ahead and we keep making better choices in the future, that's more important. And sometimes it takes us a few of these setbacks and mistakes to really be able to, if we have to, break up with dairy, break up with caffeine, whatever it might be, certainly to kick the carb and sugar and seed oil addictive habits. Sometimes we have to mess up, fall back to finally get over it. It's all about progress, not about trying to be perfect. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end, and I so appreciate your support. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all of your good words and your kind thoughts and encouragements. I make a point of responding to everybody, so thank you for sharing all of your comments. Appreciate it, guys. Seriously, I really do. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys are great. And if not, I hope that tomorrow is a better day. And I will see you guys in the next video with more content. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Love you guys. See you next time. Take care and bye for now.